Hey guys, how's it going? I'd like to get to some business venture, and what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about business. So let's get started. My name is George Wolf. Yes, a politician and an individual who's willing to give you free information. Yes, I am running for office in 2022, and hopefully, if you're from Arizona, you'll vote for me. Thank you. Anyway, let's get started. What I'd like to do is, first of all, talk to you a little bit about the business ventures. How would you like to go into business for yourself with little or no money down? How would you like to do flipping pallets and limiting the liability? Well, here's what I want you to do first of all. I want you to incorporate an LLC, limited liability company or corporation. And the purpose of that is so that you have protections. Now, the other thing I want you to do is I want you to do a land trust owned by the LLC as the beneficiary. You can do all this on LegalZoom if you create an account with them. And please, whatever you do, anytime you make transactions, use prepaid credit cards. Whatever you do, credit cards are very important. Now, I suggest you get one that's Visa and one that is MasterCard prepaid. They work around the world. Now, we will eventually get into some other issues of how do corporations or individuals get down into the low tax bracket where your business is not being burdensome on taxes. Now, of course, you want the LLC to have you as the owner, and your LLC is paying you as an employee and paying your taxes for Social Security retirement. Now, we'll get into that another time, okay? So right now, let's get back to the business issue. So once you do your LLC incorporation with the Secretary of State's office, what I want you to do now is do a trust. Now, write this down. Now, once you do that, if you don't have an EIN laying around, it's kind of preferred. Instead of using your Social Security number, okay, which is permitted to use your Social Security number, but do not, if you have to, use your Social Security number. Because what you want to do is go to the IRS, get an EIN number. It's for your protection. Because people will seek out information, whether it be online or however, and you'd be looking at fraud issues down the road. Let's try to avoid that, okay? Now, once you've done that, what I want you to do is, now, if you are living in your own home and you have a mortgage on your home, put that into that land trust. You sign the property over to your LLC, and then your LLC signs it over to the trust, or let's do it this way. You sign it over to the trust, okay? But you're not the trustee, okay? The trustee is your LLC. Now, once that's done, you are the beneficiary. You want to put yourself as a beneficiary. And if you have any children in the home, do so. Put them as a beneficiary. Now, you're going to be able to still sell the property out of the trust. Okay? Remember, it's a land trust. So what we're doing is we're creating a barrier, and we're also intervening with anybody coming out to sue you whether it's coming on your property or anything else, then you are protected. You can also put any vehicles or anything over and above any mortgages or loans that are against them. You can still put them in the trust. Okay, now what I want you to do is to think about what type of business you want to go into. In this particular video, let's dabble a little bit in rather than the real estate game, into flipping pallets. Go online and look up learning how to flip pallets 101. When you get into the different videos, make sure they're showing you exactly how to do it. Now, I'm going to suggest that you not flip any pallets or buy pallets that are specifically on returns or something of that sort, because you find crazy things in there. You don't want all that. You want a simple purchase and sell. Now, some people call it wholesaling, some people call it retailing, so everybody has a different issue about it. What I want you to do is to get the best out of it. So what they're going to show you is how to price the item. But what I want you to do is think about it. Don't just go buy something and go by what they tell you as far as how to look up what the price could be and how much you could be selling it for. You want to sell it, maybe 2 or 3 times the amount at the most. But you don't want to go overboard. So if something costs $100 and you go out and you sell that product for more, then what you need to do is go back and think about it. Write down, okay, so I'm paying $100. If I were to pay $100 for something, a pallet, and then I turned around and I take that pallet and I pull everything out and I set whatever I could sell for $100 aside, okay, it may come up to double the amount. So if I get my money back, that's fine. That's part of the deal. But then you also want to find out what kind of profits I'm getting. Well, they're going to show you that too. But when they say, if you see an item and it's great, let's say it's a computer. And that computer online, the same exact computer sells for, let's say $400. Well, instead of selling it for $400, if you sold it for $200, or let's say $300 or best offer, and you get $200 out of it, guess what? You've already paid off your pallet and your commission on the transporting that pallet to where you are. Now, you have to determine also, how much your time is being. So that would come in the long run when you do your taxes and everything else, and we'll think about that later. Anyway, let's get back to what we're targeting. Flipping pallets. When you buy a product, I want you to remember, when you're buying a product and you're selling that product, okay, think about those places where you've actually sold stuff before, be it Penny Saver, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But those places, even eBay, and places like that, you can go and not have a problem selling those products. Once you sell that product, you have actually made the profit because you've doubled or tripled your money or whatever the case may be. And what you want to do is have the LLC send you a loan of the amount. So what happens? Well, what happens is the LLC is selling it, and the money, what is that money doing? The money is sitting in the limited liability. So somebody that comes to try and sue you for something, they can't sue you, they have to sue the LLC. But see, it's a limited liability company. Now, you can go online and look and see what the profits are for those things, but go back also and look at the limited liability company's liabilities. So when it comes to people that the limited liability owes, there's a cut. Because they're not coming after you, they're going after a limited liability company. Attorneys can tell you great things about that. But again, remember, you've got two separate things. So one, you've got a trust for real estate. Debtors can't touch it. Mortgage companies can't touch it or anything because it doesn't belong to them. And then you want to cake on top of that, okay? You own the you own the LLC. LLC is the beneficiary or is the trustee of the trust. Okay, your income comes in when you're selling the product. Okay, the money is going back to the LLC. LLC, okay, will pay your Social Security taxes or whatever, and they'll pay you something. Okay. Now, when you go to collect taxes, you're going to get back a certain amount of money in your taxes. But remember, you are also getting paid from your own company. So A, you own all the way around. Okay, all the way around. Now, if you decide to take that LLC and place it in the ownership or custody as a stock, a trade-off, then you're going to get some tax breaks also on dividends, where the rich people get richer through dividends. So you can take that dividend and you can take a loan against the dividend and then turn around, get that money up front, and then, well, there are so many different tricks. But I want to get you back to the beginning. So we've got our LLC. Now we're going to move in from the LLC selling products. And we need to purchase low, sell high. So you go to your pallet that you buy, and then you pull everything out, double checking everything, make sure everything works and everything else. And then what you want to do is you want to take the amount that you spent on that pallet, you double that, okay, and then that's where the math and the calculations come in. Because one, when I say double that, you need to first take into consideration how much is that pallet going to cost me, how much is it going to cost to ship, unless I go get it myself. Okay, if that's the case, you're taking a U-Haul, you're going to go get it. But all your purchases, you want to make these online. Okay, now you go to websites where they do, and you're going to learn that also on some of the videos, where they're going to tell you places to go, and like liquidations.com or whatever, and you buy in bulk, and you're buying the pallets to flip, or even the better costs is if you spent enough of money that you can actually get a huge trailer. You know those big tractor trailer trucks? The trailers on those things? Completely full of pallets, completely full of product, whatever it is. You can then turn around, and if you paid $1,000, $5,000 for that trailer, and then you start just everything's about calculations. So you just start taking one part at a time out of your product and start writing it down or typing it in the computer program or whatever the case may be that you want to do, and putting a price down. Now you can go online and you can either buy a software that will give you the price and things like that. You can find these things at liquidation.com or something similar to that. And those people who are teaching on their videos, they're going to teach you about that. Okay, where to go and how to come up with the price. Now, once you have that, okay, you also want the limited liability company to hire your siblings as well, so that they get a paycheck. And guess what? When you do your taxes and they're getting a paycheck and you're paying taxes for them, guess what happens? Your tax payout is going to come out bigger because you're paying taxes for them and you're getting their taxes for them. So you're applying as 2, 3, whatever you have in a household. That's the way it's going to be. Okay. So now back to the business. So once you know that, I suggest that these people pay through PayPal. Okay. It may be more expensive to go to a bank, set up an account, and have it take your payments. Okay. Now you could also do what's called a secondary account. So PayPal, the money comes in from the individual under the business account, and then when you go in each day, you check to see if there's any transferable money in there. You transfer that into your limited liability company. Now, once you do that, you then get paid. One of the things that people don't know is that once you have all this stuff in place, your trust, your limited liability, things like that, and then once you start making an income on the flipping the pallets, and you take this product, it was $50, and I'm downing it to maybe $20 or whatever the case may be. Okay, but in reality, when I bought it, my bid allowed me to buy it at maybe, instead of the $20, I may have paid $5, $4, whatever it is. But it's worth the max, and then you bring it down to a particular amount and you sell it in your special ads or whatever, where Penny Saver, whatever you go to sell your product. One major thing, and that is, please, whatever you do on your secondary account, transfer the money that you have that's in your PayPal account that you receive from those who are buying it. Make sure they pay up front for it. So check and see if they paid for it before you ship it out. Okay, please, whatever you do. People, we think that people can be honest, but it's not always that way. We can have grandma next door be the honest person in the world, but when she wants something, then she may be looking for that. Okay? And they'll cheat you in a heartbeat. Even your brother or sister or mother or whatever. Anyway, let's get back to the main point. So here you went out and you did these little things. Now, please, whatever you do go to the corporation commission in your county or state or whatever, and file it personally. Because what happens is, if you don't print it and file it yourself, you're going to be paying for someone to do it for you for maybe $3 to a couple $1,000s. Why do that? You just need to have it done for you, have it checked out to make sure it's done right. Then you just print it, and then you just go over to the Secretary of State's office and file your LLC. Then you go to the county recorder and you find out, where do I file my trust? And they should be able to tell you in your particular county. Once you have that land trust filed and you have your LLC filed. Now again, remember, the LLC is the one who manages and is the company that deals with your trust. Okay, your beneficiary is the trustee. Your LLC is in your name, so it could be Janet or Jacob or whatever LLC. Okay, I mean, you want to get creative with the name, but not to worry about people suing you as an individual. They'd be suing the limited liability company, which typically doesn't work out in their favor because it's a limited liability, remember. Then, of course, you want to eventually, get an insurance policy, error and omissions insurance policy for the LLC. So if you do have to cover something that somebody won, it's limited, and the error and omissions insurance pays for that. You can go online and look for the error and omissions insurance. If you put that in and you check around, make sure that those particular insurances are available. Okay. Surety is another way to go as far as limited liability insurance in case you get sued. The other thing is you might want to consider in the long run, in case some arrest may take place for you or whoever you list as board members or whatever, or partnerships or whatever. You want to do them a favor, as yourself, and put a bail bond. Go out, get a bail bond, or pay a bail bond, or not the bail bondsman, but the insurance company for bail bonds that may be used for corporation or company employees. Okay. So hopefully you're writing this down. Hopefully you'll be able to rewind this video and come back to understanding of your ducks in a row. Okay. Your trust, your limited liability company, your insurance, okay, and your ability to know who you're going after as far as bidding online, be it the liquidation, a Pallot service, or whatever it is that they give you, or on your own looking for one, and the ability to be diversified. Okay. Don't take this, don't put this in place of your current job, because your current job is going to help you buy your first Pallot. Then once you get going, it's just going to be rolling along. Okay. Now, you want to ask, as a self-employed individual for the company, or just as an employee of the LLC, even though you own it, the LLC pays its own debts or whatever the case may be. But then again, you as the employee of the company, okay, operating that company, then you go ahead and do your taxes as an employee of that company. The company does its own thing, which you control, but then you're not liable though, remember. Okay. So now, let's move on to think about capital gains or whatever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you next time about a few offshoots, maybe dividends, or something called grantor trust. It's a program called the initials are GRA, annuities trust. That's it. AT. So it's GRAT. And the first G stands for grantor. The R stands for registered, or I'm sorry, it's retained. annuities trust. Okay, grantors retained annuities trust. Write it down. Now, once we have this done, I want you to just keep that in mind, because those are just helpful hints of tax deductions. The other one would be maybe dividends. If you do give out dividends and you're listed as an employee, as an executive officer of that company or corporation, then you may have the ability to also have the deductions of that dividends. But you would talk to your tax accountant. Remember, all tax accountants are not going to be the same, so please understand that. Okay? Okay. Now, in my next video, we're going to talk a little bit more about other businesses other than flipping pallets, and you going online and learning from the videos on how to flip pallets for beginners. Okay? That's what you're going to put in there. How to flip pallets for beginners. I would say personally, don't just put pallets, put pallets and truckloads. Okay, for beginners. Okay, so anyway, that's it for now, and I'll talk to you next time. And again, I should have said it in the beginning, but I approve of this video and other videos that I've done, and hope that you guys have a great day. Watch your back. Be sure that nobody comes at you for any purpose. Make sure you're protecting your assets through the LLC and a trust. And I will talk to you next time, okay? And if you happen to live in my state, please give me a shout out and let me know that you could be considered a voter, and you might consider voting for me. Moving on, I want to also say that if you like this information, you want to get more, and you want to be notified, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Or how about give me a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, something, so that I know who you are, so I know if you're interested, and if you like the product that I'm putting out. Okay? So, okay, we'll catch you later. And also, whatever you do, don't trust everyone. Okay? Whatever you do, do not trust everyone. Thank you, and you have a good night.